Lonnie Harp. My oldest daughter, Alyssa.
I'm Zach Harp.
My son, and my youngest son, Connor.
Zach, how old are you?
17.
You're
Fixing to be
17.
18.
See, you look older to me.
He gets that a lot.
Oh yeah, a lot.
He gets that, yeah, he does.
All right, okay. So tell us the story.
Okay, I had Connor in September of '02. He average delivery, 2 hours, in and out. He was fine. Took formula. I wasn't a breastfeeder, so he was a formula baby. He took it. He had no issues. He was coming along pretty standard for boys. And when he was a year old, we had been warned by a manual therapist that we were seeing at the time, not to do the shots. And we just kind of, went with the consensus and did the shots.
Had your other two been vaccinated?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no real reason to worry about.
No problems. So we never even anticipated any kind of a problem. And we took him in for his MMR, his 12-month shots, which included his first MMR shot and his only MMR shot he's ever had. And when we left there, he was already getting very puffy looking and very irate, very irritable. We could not console him, for anything. Well, later on that night, his fever, he started getting a really high fever, so we took him to Breckenridge Hospital in Austin, which was where we were living at the time. And we sat back there in the ER for 4 hours for them to give us an antibiotic, because they after a chest x-ray, they couldn't tell me what was wrong with him. They had no idea. My husband already knew it was a reaction from the shot. He said, because he carried him out and he could already feel him reacting to it right after it happened. And I was like, it's not the shot, Well, then the little bit of pulling up and starting to walk that he was doing within a month, that had gone backwards. And he stopped trying to talk. He was already saying, "Dada, Mama, I love you too."
He was saying Zach.
And saying Zach, actually, yes, he was already saying Zach.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm. And they're not far off in age, but he does remember him saying Zach, because he asked me later on in years, why did he stop saying Zach? I said, why did he just stop trying to talk at all? And still never really thought too much about the shots. And we took him to the manual therapist that had warned us against the shots, because he always had stomach issues, which once he was diagnosed, I realized was one of the first telltale signs of the entire situation for him. Mm-hmm. It screwed up his stomach. So we tried all the diets, all the gluten-free. He's been like that for a long time. But it took him. He didn't start walking until he was almost 2. Everything that usually happens between your 12-month and your 2-year birthday, seems like everything just froze in time right there. That's where he stayed. That's where he's at now. He's just a lot bigger, and he started having seizures.
When did you start having seizures?
When he was 10. Right out of nowhere. They had no idea. They still have no idea.
They're
Why?
trying to jack him up with loads of medicine.
Oh yeah, he's on loads of medicine. Because I'll get in trouble if I don't give them to him. If I don't think they're working, which I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're working or not. He still has them. And then he gets the...
And he's non-verbal now.
He doesn't even try to talk. He doesn't even want to talk. He actually wasn't afraid of the potty, of going to the bathroom, until after all this happened. And then all of a sudden, he didn't even want to go into the bathroom at all. So, the more and more I read about why he is the way he is, the more and more I realized what had happened to him.
What's a day like for him at the moment? What's he do?
He gets up in the morning. I feed him. He doesn't feed himself. I feed him. Now he can, but very.
What sort of food do you feed him?
He gets applesauce and.
So is he a picky eater?
Not really.
Because he's
But
very, very thin, isn't he?
When he started taking the last seizure medicine they gave him 2 years ago, he stopped gaining weight.
He stopped what?
He stopped gaining weight. He just stopped. He's gained
Have
probably
you seen a
15.
decrease in his seizures since you've been giving him medication?
I can't really say that I have, only because the ones he was having before were the kind that when it started, you had to dose him with diastat to get it to stop. Well, now some of his seizures he can get himself out of. Last Thursday we had 6, and that's the most we've ever had.
Have you looked at all the side effects of in these medications?
Oh yes.
And is he displaying any of the symptoms of that?
No, actually no. None of the physical ones yet. But and I can't actually say that they're helping his seizures because I don't know what they would be like if I.
And when you say you
stopped
you'll get into trouble, you mean with who?
If he goes into the ER and they find out that he's being diagnosed and given medication, his insurance will drop him if he doesn't take his medication. So I guess in order for him to have his medical insurance, he has to keep taking his seizure medication, because that was what he was diagnosed with, epilepsy, which on finding out what that is something they have no idea where it's coming from. But apparently it's prominent in autistic children. And I'm thinking, well.
Vaccine injured children, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were telling us about his day, so then what happens?
Yeah, his day, he gets up, we feed him, I dress him. He will start rocking on his head and watching Blue's Clues. And we might go through a movie. We'll leave and go run some errands.
And so you're okay to going out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's okay. He's since he's been on seizure medication, he gets winded a lot easier. You know, he used to be able to run all afternoon in the heat. Now he was squatting out there in the shade next to the bus, and we had just gotten here.
I saw that.
But if I don't give him, you know, we stopped his medication one time. The very first time, the neurologist said, well, hey, it may have been a one-time thing. He had only had one seizure. It was a bad one, but it was only one. So he said, do you want to take him off of it? I said, yes, I do. So we have to wean him off of it. The very first day that he did not take any seizure medication, he had the worst seizure he's ever had. And it just started, and I was kicking myself for not giving it to him, but you know, we had decided as a doctor, the doctor said okay. Then they had to change his medication to something stronger, and now he takes 3 different kinds.
And does he, I mean, he's very, very thin, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He weighs 100 pounds, and he's at least 5'8". Now he's only grown up to 5'8" in the last 4 months. He's grown like 4 inches.
Has he been to see a gastroenterologist?
No, he hasn't.
How do you feel as his brother about this?
As his brother, I feel bad for him. I wish I could, you know, communicate him. You know, I can communicate with him. I can mess with him like a normal brother. You know, I can, you know, just do stuff with him. You know, have fun with him, teach him stuff. You know, there are times I wonder what it'd be like if he hadn't had that shot. You know, what we could have accomplished and the trouble we could have gotten into. You know,
oh yeah.
Because he looks like a troublemaker, just his personality and everything. He acts like, you know, let's have some fun sometimes.
His true personality does shine through. I'm very fortunate.
And what's the vaccine situation with you?
With me,
When he stopped, you stopped. When he got sick, there hasn't been another one in this house.
Do you get pressurized to have vaccines at school or in any situation?
I was homeschooled, so no, I don't ever
Good
get.
choice, Mum.
But no, I don't ever get pressured by it.
Do you play sport or anything like that?
I do martial arts, but that's about it.
So you haven't come across any kind of pressure?
No, never.
See, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because people who don't get vaccinated, all the ones that are just the pro-vaccine or the people that don't know what to do, they're also, well, we can't, even if we went that way, we're going to get so much abuse. And on the whole, if you stay under the radar like you've clearly done and homeschool and stuff,
You just skim
you
the
don't
top.
get the grief.
You just keep your head up every once in a while to make sure you know what everything's, what's going on, and then you just stay on the down low. And he seems to be, since we've been here in Knoxville, he's doing a lot of he's gotten to be a teenager now. He just turned 14 last month. So it's like going through teenage hormones, but on steroids. And not knowing how to comfort him because the usual comforts are no longer. Now he's like,
So
everybody go away.
He's painfully thin, he's lacking in energy,
He eats.
and it
Oh
goes
my
nowhere.
gosh. He eats like a horse.
Does he have bowel issues?
Sometimes I try to keep I've got a really
Sounds
good
like a Dr.
probiotic.
Pridgman case, folks. Alright, let me see. We'll have a little chat afterwards. And thank you, because you brought the story to our attention in the first place. You're a fantastic sister. I remember you.
Thank you.
You see, a lot of people remember you and your story. You're an amazing family, all of you. Let's see if we can get your brother some help. I know you're probably exhausted. Some man came up to me, but just literally before we came here, and he said, do you have a child with autism? I said, yeah, I do. He's 20 and he's in the film. He said this man had not seen Vaxxed and had no idea, and he was trying to sell me therapy for Billy, knows nothing about. All he knows is that I have a child with autism that's 20,
And he
and
thinks
straight into selling me a treatment for my child.
when he
And I just thought, I've been doing this for 19 years. The last thing I need is a stranger trying to sell a treatment to my 20-year-old son who you don't even know. You haven't
and
even
across the
seen
board
film.
treatment, if he had any knowledge of what it's all about, each case is different based on the child.
Too many people trying to sell. This is the problem, isn't it? You've got to wheel your way between all the therapies and treatments and work out what is right for your child. And it's hard, especially when none of us got any money. But let's see what we can do. Okay, you guys are amazing.